Hello. So this is a wonderful question that we have in biology under a topic called dentition. So the question is saying the figure below shows a section through a human tooth. So this is a tooth that is here. Before we go any further, we must be able to know all these parts that are labeled. Part F, what is the name of that part? F is called an enamel. So an enamel, this one is so simple because that's the hardest part of the tooth, or we just call it as the outer part of the tooth. Then we've got this part called G. Have you seen this part called G? So have you seen why it is pointing? This part that is here, we also have this part that is there. So that part is called a dentine. I guess you are getting something. This is what you need to know. Then, have you seen where H is pointing? We've got these two more things that are more like these nerves. Have you seen? They are more like nerves. That part is called pulp cavity. So that is pulp cavity. Then we've got this eye, these things here, more like this is what is joining, like when we put another tooth here. Have you seen something like that? So this part is what is called the cement. So we get to call it as the cement. So these are certain parts that you are supposed to know. Quickly, we now jump into the questions. So the first question is saying, state the names of the part labeled F and G. So I won't even answer this particular question because I've already labeled that tooth that is above there. We now move on to this question that is here. We know what is F. F, that is an enamel. What is G? Dentine. So you can put enamel there and dentine. That's one of the simplest questions. Then we now go to this question that is here. They're telling us to say, explain the function of the parts labeled H and I. What is the function of this part called pulp cavity? So like I've told you, you are able to see some nerves there. There are certain nerves there. So meaning that even as you get to explain this one, you discover that this one gets to contain nerves that are sensitive. So what do you need to know here is that this one contains what? Gets to contain, so I'll say contains nerves. It contains nerves that are what? That are sensitive. So this is where the sensitive part is found. So that's where you get to find what? That's where you get to find nerves. You can see there are those parts there. These are nerves. You can even tell that these are what? Those are nerves there. So you discover that in this pulp cavity, that's where you get to find some blood vessels. So these blood vessels get to transport oxygen and food to the tooth. So what is the function of the pulp cavity? Is to do what? Is to transport. So you say it gets to contain. That one gets to do what? It gets to contain. So I'll say it contain what? It contain blood vessels. It gets to contain some blood vessels. So it contains blood what? Blood vessels which transport. So which does what? Which transport? It is going to transport what? It is going to transport oxygen and food to the what? To the tooth. So to the tooth. This is what you are supposed to understand. That is all about pulp cavity. Let us now move to eye. What is eye? We know that eye is what? That is the cement. So the cement, I think you even know the function of the cement. This one, even some guesswork can work on this. So discover that the function of the cement, it just what? We just say it just anchors. It anchors the what? Anchors the teeth. Anchors the teeth to the what? To the jaws. Have you seen? So this one, it just touches, like this is a part that gets to stick to the jaws. So it just anchors the teeth to the jaws. This is something that is so simple. So these can be jaw bones, so we can say to the what? Jaw bone. So I can put, you can say jaw bone there. That's the function, to anchor the teeth to the jaw bone, just like that. Let us now move on to this question that is here. This is the most interesting question that you can find in an exam, and I want you to hear me and hear me well. So these questions that we are answering should open up your mind in answering other questions. So everything that I'm sharing with you, everything that I'm explaining here, it should just give you a picture on how to go about other questions. So the question is saying, explain how tooth decay is brought about. Maybe some questions they can ask you, what is tooth decay? Here they are just telling us to say, how is tooth decay brought about? So you need to understand that tooth decay, this is a condition where the enamel of the teeth is corroded. So that is what we mean by what? That is what we mean by tooth decay. How is this thing brought about? You discover that, so I'll be explaining what is to write it down so that we don't consume a lot of time. So you discover that tooth decay, so I'll say tooth decay is brought about, or it is caused. So tooth decay is caused, I'm going to say, is caused by what? Is caused by the interaction. This is caused by the interaction of bacteria. So by the interaction of bacteria, we talk over sugars and acids. Acids in the what? In the mouth. This is what you need to understand. So it is caused by the interaction of bacteria, sugars and acids in the mouth. Now, you will now discover that when those, so when food particles, so I'll say when food particles, especially those with a high amount of sugars, so when those food particles remain on the surface of the tooth, so when they remain on the what? On teeth, let's say on teeth, when they remain on teeth, you now discover that bacteria forms. So I will say bacteria does what? Bacteria form a what? A plaque. So it forms a plaque. So this one, maybe you are wondering to say, what is a plaque? So a plaque, I want you to know that a plaque, it's just a coating of a bacteria that gets to be formed on the surface of the on the tooth every day. So this gets to be formed on the tooth every day. This is the reason why if you don't brush your teeth, you get to be affected. So this is the information you have to know. So this is more like a coating with bacteria that gets to be formed. I think you get to see this. When you don't brush your teeth, you discover that some things will be formed on your tooth like that. So that is what gets to be there. And I want you to understand that when these things are formed, they produce what? This same plaque produces, you need to understand that it produces an acid, produces, let's say, it produces what? It produces acids as to what? As to metabolize these sugars. These sugars now, have you seen? So you will now discover that the acid that is formed, so I will say the acids now, so let us do this. I will now tell you that these acids, the acids that get to be formed, get to erode. So say they erode the what? The tooth. They erode the tooth enamel. Now they get to invade the what? The tooth enamel. you now discover that this is now going to read to what? So we are now talking about reading to the what? Reading to the formation. Reading to the formation of what? Reading to the formation, I'll say, reading to the formation. Let me create some space here. Reading to the formation of cavities. Leading to the formation of cavities. So these cavities, that's now where the tooth decay starts from now. You discover that some pains starts to be felt. So you discover that if left untreated, when these things are not treated, you discover that the decay can progress deeper into the tooth, affecting the dentine and the pulp cavity, resulting in pain and potential infections. So infections get to be there. So this is some basic information that you get to encounter. Such questions in an exam, they will even ask you to say that maybe suggest ways of preventing tooth decay. So let me create another question. So I just want you to get this. Questions like this do come in an exam, and you need to make sure that you are able to understand them clearly. So I want you to know this. You discover that you get to have questions where they tell you to say, so let me say this is two, where they tell you to say suggest. This is an exam question. They will tell you to say suggest 2 ways. They will tell you suggest 2 ways of preventing. So they will tell you to say suggest 2 ways of preventing what we call tooth decay. So 2 ways of preventing tooth decay. 1, you need to make sure that there are some regular brushing. You need to be brushing your teeth regularly. 2, you need to make sure that you get to avoid. So there are a lot. Avoid what? Avoid tobacco. You need to avoid tobacco products. And also, you have to make sure that you do some regular dental visit. You do some regular dental visit or checkups. You visit the clinic for dental checkup. And there are quite a lot. You need to limit acid foods and drinks. So you need to put some limit on acid food and drinks. There are quite a lot. So these are some of the ways in which you can prevent this tooth decay. I guess you've learned something and you're able to answer questions that may come in an exam. So this is a public video. Those of you that want to join me, you want to join my online lessons, this is my number. You can drop a text on WhatsApp on this number. So this is my WhatsApp number, 0971 06 6747. This is my number. Make sure you drop a text on WhatsApp. I help you at an affordable fee. And don't forget, I do have a Facebook page. I want you people to follow me on Facebook. This is my official Facebook page name. So this is my official Facebook page name, Harrison J. Zuru Tutor. So don't forget to also follow me on Facebook. Thank you so much. Don't forget to comment. Don't forget to like the video. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much.